So today we will discuss about the population genetics. Okay, this class is having two parts. In the first half we will discuss about the what is the principle behind the population genetics, and after that we will solve some numerical questions related to the Hardy-Wimber equilibration. Okay, so let's begin the class. Okay, so what is the population? Okay, so here you can see that there is different type of individuals, like one is in yellow color, one is in violet color, one is some reddish kind of color, and one is some what I can say, it is some white, pale white kind of color. Okay, so each individual is denoting one kind of population. Okay, because this whatever characteristic is having by this yellow one, it is not having by the other color. Okay, so that's why each individual is representing each type of population. So what is the definition of population? Population is a group of individual of the same species. Okay, so same species means it should having the same kind of genetic information. Okay, and it occupies some kind of space in the geographical area, and it can freely interbreed to each other to produce the fertile offspring in nature. Okay, so here suppose this yellow one is denoting one kind of population, so whatever number of yellow is denoting a particular kind of the population. Okay, this yellow color is having certain kind of characteristic which is not present in other color individuals. Okay, so these when these individuals come together, they will create one kind of population, and it will occupy some space in the geographical area, and it can interbreed to each other to produce the fertile offspring in nature. Okay, to maintain their population. Okay, so then what is the population genetics? So population genetics is the study of genetic variation in a population or in a group, means how the genetic information is changing throughout the time or over a period of time, how the genetic constitution of each population is changing. That study we will do under the population genetics. Okay, so means if you are talking about genetic constitution, it is having gene and allele, DNA, all these terms. Okay, so we will see one by one. So the basic term of genetic constitution is the gene. Okay, what is gene? Gene is a short sequence of DNA which encode a certain kind of characteristic or certain kind of trait. Okay, so here if we will see in this graph or in this picture, what you are seeing here is there is two chromosome. Okay, these two chromosome are the homologous to each other. Suppose this is the human chromosome number 14. Okay, suppose. Okay, I am giving a hypothetical example to make you understand. Okay, so suppose this is the homologous chromosome which is having two chromatid. Okay, and this is the chromosome number 14, and you can say this different color denoting the different locus of the chromosome. Okay, suppose this is the one locus, this is the second locus. Okay, this is the third locus, this blue one, and this gray one is the fourth locus, this green one is the fifth locus. Okay, yellow one is the sixth locus, like that. Okay, so each locus is consistent some kind of gene. Okay, so what is the gene? Gene is the short sequence of DNA which encode a proper characteristic or a certain trait. Okay, so suppose eye color. Okay, so in locus third you are having the gene of eye color. Okay, eye color is your gene. Okay, or you can say it is a trait or it is a characteristic. Okay, so gene is the characteristic. Okay, and what is allele? Allele is the alternative version or different variant of the gene. Okay, different variant of the gene. Okay, so suppose here there are two variant of the eye color. First one is the blue eyes and second one is the brown eyes. Okay, so eye color could be anything like someone is having blue eyes, someone is having brown eyes, someone is having black eyes. Okay, so the here in this chromosome you are having gene of eye color on the third locus of the chromosome, and which is having two kind of allele, one denoting the blue eyes and one another is denoting the brown eyes. Okay, so brown is dominating in nature compared to the blue eyes, so that's why it is representing as a capital B. Okay, and the blue eyes is recessive in nature, so it is representing as a small b. Okay, so this is the two alternative form of the eye color. Okay, so it is called the allele. Okay, or you can say it is the alternative form of the gene, any kind of gene. So you got it, like gene is the some kind of trait. Okay, it can be your height, it can be your eye color, it can be your skin color. Okay, so some characteristic is called as gene, and this gene is constituted by allele, or you can say it is the alternative form of the allele or different variant of the allele, different variant of the gene. So here blue eyes and brown eyes are the different form of the eye color. Okay, so this is the gene and allele. Then what is the gene pool? So gene pool is the total genetic information of any kind of population is called as the gene pool. Okay, so gene pool is having all the information regarding one particular population. Suppose this is the population. Okay, here many same kind of individual is there. Okay, so whatever whatever genetic information present in all the individual, all the same species of the same population is representing the gene pool of that particular population. Okay, it represents the gene pool of that particular population. Okay, then what is the allelic frequency? It is the percentage of an organism in a population that carrying a particular allele. Okay, so suppose here means whatever you have seen, like either brown eyes or either blue eyes. If suppose in a population how many times this brown eyes comes or how many times this blue eyes falls, that is called as the allelic frequency. Okay, and the genotypic frequency means how the total allele is present on means this total gene is present how much time, so that is called the genotypic frequency and it is the allelic frequency. Okay, so it will more clear when you solve the questions. Okay, so yeah, allelic frequency in a gene pool determine the genetic change for a population. Okay, so it will determine the genetic constitute, means how the genetic constitute is changing over the time. That we can identify by the by calculating the allelic frequency. Okay, then composition of a gene pool may change over time due to certain factors, and if no change in the allelic frequency from one generation to the next generation, the gene pool is considered as a static or as a we can say like genetic equilibrium. Okay, genes are in the equilibrium position, there is no change. Genetic equilibrium. Suppose, what is genetic equilibrium? Where your gene pool is not affected by any kind of the environmental factor or any kind of selection. Okay, so in that condition the genetic constitution will maintain the genetic equilibrium. Okay, genetic equilibrium. So but in nature this genetic equilibrium is not possible. Okay, because we know that there is some means somehow the genetic constitution changes by time. Okay, it can't be constant in nature. Okay, it is the hypothetical condition when you can say like the genetic constitution is not changing over the time, but in nature it is not possible. Okay, somehow it is affecting the genetic constitution and it is changing throughout the time. Okay, so this is the hypothetical condition, and which is identified by means how this kind of hypothetical situation is needed, because suppose one one phenotypic character you have seen, that is the red one. Okay, red color you, if you are seeing. Okay, so by seeing the phenotypic character, you can't understand like this red color is coming from the either homozygous dominant or either heterozygous. Okay, because both will give you the this red color. Okay, so you can't, by seeing the color only, you can't say like whether it is coming from the homozygous dominant or whether it is coming from the heterozygous. Okay, so to identify or to means determine means how these phenotypic character are developing by which type of genotypic frequency or by which type of allelic frequency you require this hypothetical situation. Okay, means where all the things are in static in nature, then only you can predict those things. Okay, so for that Hardy and Wimberg, two scientists were there in 1908. They told that frequency of alleles and genotype in a population will remain constant from generation to generation if the population is stable and in a genetic equilibrium. Okay, so they told that if your population is maintaining the genetic equilibrium or it is in a stable condition, then you can find out the means how this phenotypic character is developing. Okay, so to maintain supposed to but in nature it is not possible. Okay, so they told like when this when this genetic equilibrium will maintain, so there are 5 different conditions. Okay, to maintain this genetic equilibrium. So what are those conditions? They told that firstly the geographical area should be closed in nature. Okay, so what does it mean? Like closed in nature means whatever individual present in this geographical area, okay, they can't move from inside to outside, or no other individual can move outside to inside. Okay, it should be isolated geographical area. Okay, they in this kind of area only this Hardy-Wimberg equilibration will fit, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so because it can influence the genetic constitute. If suppose one individual is coming from outside to inside, it can definitely met with the individual present here and it can change the genetic constitution. Okay, so that's why they told like the geographical area should be closed. Okay, it should be isolated from other geographical area, and the population size present which is present over here should be very large. Okay, it should be very large, it should not small. Okay, suppose in case why it should be very large, because in a population there is a much chance of the genetic to occurrence of the genetic drift. Okay, what is genetic drift? Suppose in case of some geographical isolation, what happened is some individual will isolated, means it is random by chance. Okay, it is not by natural selection, it is random by chance. Suppose some climatis occurs here and some individual will isolated from this population, then what will happen is, if the population itself is very small, then it will influence the migration of this individual from this side to another side. Okay, so that's why they told like the geographical area should be isolated and it should be very large in nature, so that if 1-2 individual migrate from here, then it won't affect the total population present over here. Okay, so the first term is the large breeding population, so that the genetic drift won't affect this population. Okay, so yeah, this is the first criteria to maintain the stability or to maintain the genetic equilibrium over the population. Okay, the second one is the random mating. Okay, random mating means whatever individual present here, they should get equal chance to mate with each other. Okay, like in human, what is the tendency? Like tall will marry to tall only. Okay, they will not, in general, they will not marry to short person. Okay, this is very rare. when tall marry to short. Okay, so this is the general tendency, because here selection is applying. Okay, so this kind of selection is should not be occur here. Okay, so this is the random mating, means each individual can met with the other individual. They have the equal chance to meet with each other. There is no selection biasness. Okay, then only the genotypic frequency or the genetic equilibrium will maintain. Okay, this is the second criteria. But in random matting, what yeah, so random matting, what is happening is it will prefer one kind of population. Okay, and it will increase that particular kind of population. Okay, so the third one is there should be no mutation. Okay, so by suppose some environmental factor, if the genetic constitute, the DNA will change, then it can influence the genetic equilibrium. Okay, so that's why they told like there should be no mutation in the genetic constitute. Okay, there should be no mutation. The fourth one is the no immigration or no immigration. Okay, which I earlier also told you, like there it should be the isolated geographical area. No individual can go outside or no individual can come inside. Okay, it should be isolated. Okay, then there is no natural selection. Okay, so in natural selection what happened is, suppose they prefer the survival of the fitness. Okay, so suppose which is having the superior power, that population will only survive, and the recessive will extend. Okay, so this kind of selection pressure should not be present in the this population, then only it will maintain the genetic equilibrium. Okay, so there are 5 conditions which is told by the Hardy-Wimber to maintain the genetic equilibrium or stability. If either of the factor will contribute in this population, the genetic equilibrium will break and it can influence the genetic constitution, and the Hardy-Wimber law will not follow in that particular case. Okay, so the first one is the geographical area should be closed and isolated, and no individual can come inside and no individual can go outside. Okay, the second one is that there should be random mating. There should no selection biasness. There is no mating preference. Okay, the mating should be in random in nature. Okay, the third one is that there is no mutation occur in the DNA level, or in any kind of genetic information. It should not be mutated by case of any environmental factor. Okay, and the fourth one is that there should be no immigration or no immigration. Okay, then fifth one is the no natural selection should be there. There should be no natural selection pressure in that particular population, then only this stability and genetic equilibrium will be maintained. Okay, then only you can identify like this phenotype is developed by which kind of allelic frequency or which kind of genetic frequency. Okay, otherwise you can't calculate or you can't determine. Okay, but in nature this is not possible, right? Because means after certain time, or if you will see the natural climates or in the mating preferences, there is something, some factor will definitely affect the genetic constitution in somehow. Okay, so it is the hypothetical situation which is told by the Hardy-Wimber equilibrium. Okay, an isolated population on an island has the following genotypic frequency. This is the genotype, capital 1, and this is the homozygous dominant, this is the heterozygous, and this is the recessive one. The frequency is also given here. So assuming that there are only 2 alleles, that is the capital and small a for the gene, or you can say homozygous dominant and homozygous recessive, the genotypic frequency of AA in the next generation will be, what will be the genotypic frequency of means homozygous dominant in the next generation? What will be the correct answer of this question? Here also three things has given already, means you know the total population size will be, when you sum up this thing, it will come as 1. Okay, so total number of population size also given, the heterozygous population size is also given, and the homozygous population is also given. Okay, so what will be the correct answer? Can you calculate? I know most of you confused with this thing, like here already given the A frequency, then why we need to calculate again the frequency of A. Okay, it is not like that, means it is asking for the next generation. Okay, so in next generation, then this A can come from either this A mating. Okay, this A can come from this A mating, or it can also come from the heterozygous mating also. So you don't know, means from where this homozygous dominant is coming. Okay, or if it is coming from the both the ways, if it will come na. So what will be the frequency in that case in the next generation? Okay, some of the homozygous dominant will come in this mating, and some of will come from this mating. So what will be the total frequency of A in the next generation? Okay, so it won't mean directly, it won't like if it is A in the 0.3 frequency has given, so it won't be the correct answer for the next generation. In the next generation, two scenario will be there, means the homozygous dominant can mate with each other, and the heterozygous will, can mate with each other. So in both the cases, the homozygous dominant will form. Okay, so the total frequency of homozygous dominant you don't know, means in the next generation. For that you have to find out the allelic frequency. Okay, so what will be the correct? Have to firstly put this all this value into 2 into 0.3. Okay, plus the heterozygous population, that is 0.4 divided by 2 into total number of population, that is 2 into 1. Okay, so it will give you 0.6 plus 0.4 divided by 2, so it will give you 0.5. Okay, so this is answer is for the single allele, and here it is asking for the 2 allele, because you are talking about the diploid organism. Okay, so you have to nothing do, you have to just do the p square, that is the 2p. Okay, or you can say 2a. Okay, so 0.5 equal to 0.5, it will give you 0.25. Okay, so the correct answer of this question will be 0.25. Okay, it is the correct answer.